that I always...
Once, actually.
That was the only performing act she did for you?
No, she'd done a few performing acts, but that was the best one.
God dear. Didn't do too well out of that then, mate. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
I want to know, did she leave you because JK had better moves than you?
To be honest, I met her a long time before JK, right? And it lasted a couple of weeks and I actually left her. But JK still ain't got better moves than me.
Yeah, I was going to say, an estate agent from Chingford, she leaves you for a multi-millionaire international pop star with a fleet of sports gear. What's she doing? We're moving on now to Poppy Charles, who had Hugh Grant. Yes.
You said you met at a dinner party. Whose dinner party was it?
It was actually Elizabeth Hurley's elder sister, Kate Hurley, and I used to temp for her, and so I've sort of kept in touch with her, and he's really, really good friends with her, so it was a singles dinner party.
Yes.
Is he a roundhead or a cavalier?
I need an answer.
Cavalier.
Happy with that? OK. We're going to move on to Luke. How do you pronounce your name? Bruin?
Brown.
Bruin. OK. Yes.
Did you ever take drugs with him? Yeah.
Get straight to the point, mate.
Yeah.
What drugs?
Trips.
Trips? OK. Now, you're obviously...
And booze.
And booze? OK.
We were both teenagers at the time. Well, he was 19, 20, I was 17. He was 20, I was 17, going on 18.
Yes.
That was when he was famous, so I think the ages are wrong. He's a liar.
The ages aren't wrong. I met him in
They're
1980.
wrong.
I'm 39.
The dates are completely wrong.
He wasn't famous in 1980. He was famous in 1984. That's when he became famous. You go back and you read the book, you'll see that he was famous in 1984.
He's read the book.
You need to read the book, mate. You know what I mean?
You're a liar, mate.
No, that's obviously where you got your information from. No, listen.
OK.
I can assure you, in 1980, George was living in Great Titchfield Street with me. I promise you that. He wasn't famous then.
Nice one. James Soper claims to have had Kate Winslet. Yeah.
What's your favourite Kate Winslet film?
It would be Heavenly Creatures, because that was the film that was released after I met her. And so that's the kind of the Kate closest to how I know her, not as a Hollywood star.
And that was when?
That was, well, it was released in England in 1995, but she made it in 1994, and that summer when I was doing the play with her sister, that's how I met her, through that. So she was sort of between jobs. She was working in a deli in North London.
What I've got trouble with is her husband, very round face.
Yeah.
Sam Mendes, round face. No disrespect, but you've got a square face.
Yes. Perhaps you like square-headed people in those days. Hollywood changed her, I don't know.
Must do. Must do. Well, we've heard quite a bit of information from our 6 contestants. Give them a round of applause, please. It's now time for you, the studio audience, to vote. You've got to decide, out of these 6 people, who you believe to be the biggest liar. Vote now. OK, the votes are in. Lisa has 31%, Reese has 9%, Steve has 19%, Poppy has 8%, Luke 23%, and James just 9%, which means, Lisa Jensen, they didn't believe a bloody word of it, so please sit down. Thanks very much, Lisa. OK. Thanks very much. It's now time for round 2, where all the contestants get the opportunity to question one another, liar to liar. So, Reese Powell, who would you like to ask a question to?
The suspicious man on my left. To be fair, I'm no picture, but this gentleman here is, I'm sure you'll agree, and the young Denise does have taste.
So, your question is, why are you ugly?
Yes, quite frankly, I'd be very surprised if she'd lowered her guard that far. I really would be, honestly.
Dear, oh dear.
That's all right, I'll see you after the show.
It's now your opportunity, Steve. You can have a go back, or you can ask any of the other 3 contestants.
I don't believe him anyway, so I'll ask you a question. Did he write his own records?
Did he? Yeah, all of them. Well, before the songs that he sung when he used to go out to clubs, yeah. But before I knew him, before he was famous. He didn't write none of that. I don't know nothing about when he was famous.
Believe him?
Nope.
Don't believe a word of
I'm
it?
telling the truth.
Oh,
I
yeah?
believe it, yeah.
Yeah. God, good old estate agents. OK, I'm moving on to Poppy Charles. Poppy Charles, who would you like to ask a question to?
Steve, please. How old was Denise Van Outen when you were with her?
She was nearly 18, 17 and a half.
And how old were you?
26. In fact, at the party, I didn't even know her name. It was only the next day when my mates told me that I knew.
Thanks very much, Poppy. Luke?
Denise Van Outen. You know where she was born?
Do I know where she was born? I dropped her off once at her house near Lakeside in Thurrock.
Didn't ask you where she lived, I asked you where she was born.
Don't know where she was born, no. I
girl you went out
I was
with, you
only with
didn't
her a
know?
week and after 2 weeks.
If I went out with a girl...
Interested where she was born.
No, if I went out with a girl with a very peculiar surname that isn't English, I'm going to wonder, oh...
Well, you ain't really, because
where
you
your
went out with
parents
a bloke,
from?
didn't you? So you ain't going to ask that kind of question.
What was that? What did you say? What did you say? All right, yeah. Even if I went out with a bloke, if he did not have a Brown or a Wilson or a Grant or a whatever, I would say, name. Where does that name come from?
With a week and a half, right?
Anyway,
you don't really
cut to the
you don't really
chase.
go to them questions.
You don't know where she was born?
No, I haven't got a clue.
Did you know that she was born in Nijmegen in Holland?
I don't got a clue where she lived, where she was born.
Thanks, boys. Time for James Soper to ask his question. Who would you like to address it to?
OK, I'd like to ask Poppy. You were going out with Hugh Grant last year, around summertime, was it? Isn't that the whole time the whole Liz Hurley pregnancy thing blew up? Was it not slightly awkward to go out with him at that time when you were supposed to be looking after her and stuff, particularly as you're friends with her elder sister?
Well, no, it was before all that
Right.
came up, really.
So how long were you
And
going out with him for?
Just a couple of weeks, really. I said it was a brief fling.
Right.
I like to think of it as a fling.
Right, OK.
So it's even squarer on the
Oh,
side.
leave it.
All right, then. It is time to vote. Once again, if you pick up your keypads. And for our remaining 5 contestants, I want you to vote for who you believe to be the biggest liar amongst them. Please press your buttons now. So the results are in. Reese has 13%, Steve a whopping 52%, Poppy 17%, Luke 9%, and James 10%. Which means Steve Pasha, in your view, did not shag Denise Van Outen and is now out of the game. So, enjoying yourself?
Brilliant.
Yeah? Who's telling the truth then?
I think number 5 is.
Luke.
Yeah, he looks a bit Kemp.
Right. Well, that would help. So you voted for Steve, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't believe a word of it.
She's not
going to go anywhere near that. Anyone else?
I voted for Steve as well.
You voted for Steve as well?
Yeah.
Really?
I know she's from Essex, but come on.
OK, thanks very much. Round of applause. OK, we're on to round 3 now, which is another opportunity for our studio audience to grill our contestants. First up is Reese, and who's got a question for him?
Why did you find her attractive?
I think it was the other way around, to be honest with you. Bearing in mind she was doing her O-levels, I was doing my A-levels. I was the captain of the rugby team, which might have its own following, especially in a city the likes of Swansea, and a fairly small school. I was the kingpin at the time. I was a fairly popular guy at school. There we go.
But didn't she have the big hair and the hairy eyebrows and the gothic look?
There was big hair. It answers your question. She wasn't the best-looking girl in school. She obviously has grown up to be something quite glamorous now. I think we can all agree.
All right, we're going to move on to Poppy. Poppy Charles.
If you're friends with Liz Hurley's sister, would she not be slightly annoyed that you're here talking about Hugh?
No, not at all. Because she invited me to a singles party with him, and they're not together anymore, so I think it was fair game. And I'd been banging on about how I wanted to meet him, so...
Any other questions for Poppy? Yeah.
Is there any distinguishing marks that Hugh Grant's got that we wouldn't know about?
Not really. He's really, really hairless, which is quite grim. And I felt as if I had more chest hair than he did, which was really quite horrible. He's got bad teeth.
You didn't have to say that, you know.
Well, no, but I haven't really.
Okay, thanks very much. Any questions for Luke Brown? Yes, sir.
I'd like to know, what was the address of this squat that you met George in?
It was Warren Street, number 32 Warren Street. It backed out onto the Eastern Road.
All right, because you said Great Titchfield Street.
Well,
before.
there was the whole area was a commune of squats that people that hanged around the same clubs that we did lived in. Great Titchfield Street, Warren Street and Carburton Street. They're all like next to each other. And Warren Street was the one that I lived in upstairs, where George lived in the basement.
All right.
To be honest with you, I'm not really proud about it. I mean, we
You're
were
not
both
ashamed of it, are you?
To be honest with you, when I think, it's like, you know, I wouldn't go through that type today.
We're going to move on to James Soper. Yes.
When did your relationship with Kate end?
Well, it only lasted about a month, to be honest with you. The play finished, and I was going back home and then off to university. And to be honest, she had some stuff. She actually lived with a guy that stuff was still going on with him. So I think she was a bit confused about the whole thing, and she didn't really want to carry it on. So she sat me down and said goodbye.
Just think what you're missing. You could have been lying in her bed, holding her baby while she was out shagging a famous film director.
I could have been.
Gutting.
Life's full of what ifs.
All right. Okay, it is voting time once again. You're going to take it down to 3 by voting who you believe to be the biggest liar standing behind me. Please vote now. Okay, the votes are in. We have got Reese on 6%, Poppy 41%, Luke 26%, and James 27%, which means, Poppy, I'm afraid no one believes that you did the huge grunt himself, so please be seated and a round of applause. Now, in this round, our contestants get to ask a couple of questions to each of their fellow contestants. So, Reese, please, a question for Luke.
Tell me about these gay clubs a little bit more. Tell me, not that I'm interested generally, but I'm interested to know. Tell me a bit of information now. I'm intrigued.
One in Covent Garden called Blitz, which is now Brown's, on the corner of Kingsway. Another one just around the corner from Covent Garden called Hell. Studio 21 in Oxford Street, which I think it's a Borders bookshop now.
Happy with that?
Not terribly, no. It seems a little encyclopedic memory. I mean, for a man who takes that many drugs and what have you, LSD or whatever it was.
How am I going to remember
I think
it
to
all?
remember, I have an encyclopedic memory of all those places. You just get on it and you just don't know where you end up.
Thanks for that, Luke. If you'd like to ask a question, please, Reese, to James, square-faced Soper.
Yes, it coincides with him meeting Kate and this going to university. When was it again?
Right, it was in the summer of 1994.
Right.
And I'd just done my A-levels. And Kate had come back from New Zealand, where she was filming Heavenly Creatures. And the Lord of the Rings guy, he took about a year to edit it, apparently, and it didn't come out till quite a bit later on. So she was sort of stuck.
Right, so
and
she's been working in New Zealand, earning a lot of money, and she comes back to London and hangs around drama bars.
The actor, isn't it? It's very insecure.
Well, you
and
go on a holiday and just chill out and enjoy yourself for a couple of months that actors might do.
I didn't know her exact financial situation, I'm afraid.
Luke, it's your turn now. If you'd like to aim your sights at Reese and give as good as you got.
What's your real name?
Reese Powell. It's there.
I've just got a very short question. Catherine Zeta-Jones was in a musical around the same age, or just a few years maybe before you allegedly met or had a thing with her. What was the name of that musical?
She was in a musical before she came back to school in the summer after her first year. I think it was Annie. No, it wasn't Annie. She was Annie in Swansea. I think it was 42nd Street or something. It was the big thing. Local girl in Swansea goes to London for a summer job, comes back to school.
Well, that's not it. That's not it at all. It was Cats. And I didn't even know Catherine Zeta-Jones. I mean, I didn't know she was going to be famous.
Age 15.
She was in Cats. I mean, I don't know what age she was. You're saying the age. I don't know what age she was. She was Cats. That was the musical that she was in. That's the musical I'm talking about.
And she came back to school, having done a West End play. I don't think so. I'm sorry, you've got your facts wrong, sir.
No, you've got your facts wrong. You have got your... I'm a dancer. I'm a dancer. I was in musical theatre for 8 years, for 10 years.
Good for you.
All right, if you would like to move on.
James. You're in pain, aren't you?
Only with a head thing.
Who was the co-star in that film?
It was a New Zealand girl called Melanie. I can't remember what her surname is.
Oh, that's not really important. I don't believe you, just like I don't believe him. I just don't believe you. Simple as that.
So finally, we're going to end up with James. If you'd like to first address your questions to Reese, please.
From what I know of being in school plays and stuff like that, theatre people stayed with theatre people and sports people stayed with sports people. And rugby boys particularly are quite frightening.
Okay. So what actually is your question?
My question is, well, no, it's more of a bold statement. I just don't believe that
This
Catherine
isn't the bold
Zeta-Jones...
statement round. This is the question.
Oh, right. I just don't think the two worlds would meet. Sorry.
So your question, finally, to Luke, if you would.
I'd like to know why you're here. Because you sort of seem...
We're all asking that.
Yeah, but... You sort of keep saying how ashamed you are of this situation and how awkward it makes you feel and stuff like that. And I'm just interested why you'd come on a show and talk about it if it's something you'd rather forget.
Okay, all right. Yeah, okay. All right, the researchers got my name out of his autobiography and they contacted me.
You're in the book?
Yes, yeah. I am. Oh. They contacted me and I've been really pulling my hair about it. I mean, the last couple of weeks I've been asking my mates. You know, and they're saying, go on, have it, do it for a laugh. And okay, here it is. I'm doing it. I'm having a laugh.
Happy?
Blissful.
In a angular sort of way?
Yeah, angular way.
Thanks very much. Okay, we could all pick up your little machines and let us know who you think is the biggest liar. Okay, well, the results are in. Reese has 19%, Luke 47%, and James 34%. Which means you think Luke Brown is a filthy liar and he's out of the show. Sit down. Okay, so it is James and it is Reese. In a few moments, one of these two people could be walking away with £10,000. We're going to give each contestant 30 seconds in which they can tear each other's story to shreds. And then it's up to our audience to make their final choice of the winner. So, if I could ask our two finalists to please walk through to the bullseye of bullshit. So here it is. £10,000. Just to concentrate your minds on this lovely money, which could be yours, I'm going to pop that in there. What I want you to do, starting with you, James, is stare into Reese's eyes and talk for 30 seconds at him, starting with the phrase, "You are a big, beefy liar," because... Go for it.
Reese, you're a big, beefy liar. I don't believe your story. You've sat there with your chest puffed out, claiming that you know Catherine Zeta-Jones. I just don't buy it. I don't think you're the kind of guy she would go for. We haven't heard very much about your life with her, about the school life. We didn't know how long you went out with her. I just don't believe a word of it. I think you're lying. You've sat there sort of cockily talking to the audience, and I'm afraid I just don't believe a word of it. I've been nervous. I've stuttered. I'm telling the truth. I think you're just too confident for your own good, and I just don't believe a word of it. I'm very sorry about that.
Woohoo! It's now your turn, Reese.
I don't think I can speak that quickly, to be honest.
What I want you to do is look him straight in the eye and start a 30-second rant as to why he's been fabricating all evening with the words, "You are a square-faced liar," because...
You are a square-faced liar because I find it hard to believe that a drama student would be as nervous as you are, and the audience is only about 200 people or so, and I think you are lying. And the story doesn't have any substance to it. I think you are lying.
Oh, he's finished early. I bet Catherine didn't like that. The moment of truth has arrived. Members of the audience, you've heard the evidence presented before you today. Now remember, if the person you choose tonight turns out to be a big fat fibber, that person goes away with all the money. However, if the person our audience chooses is telling the truth, you lot share the 10 grand. So, which one of these two big lads is a bloody liar? I can tell you, Reese, you got 38% of the vote. James, 62% of the audience think you're a liar. Which means that Reese is our winner tonight. Round of applause. Well done, Reese. And if I'll... Hold on. You see, you can't have the cash yet because we still don't know if you're telling the truth. So, back to your positions. Right, finally time for all this lying to stop. In this envelope, if you remember, I have the identity of the truth teller. I'm now going to have a little peek. Good night. I'm going to start off with Lisa Jensen, who told us that she shagged Ruud Gullit. Are you, in fact, Lisa Jensen?
No, I'm not. My real name is Rachel Bowden, and I work at the Food Standards Agency in central London.
Contestant number 6. Are you James Soper?
No, my name's Nick Swift, and I'm a librarian from Tunbridge Wells.
Rotation mounts. Contestant number 4. Are you Poppy Charles, and did you do Hugh?
No, my name's Sheila Whitehead, and I'm a recruitment consultant from Cambridge.
All right. Contestant number 5. Can I ask you, are you Luke Brown, and did you have an affair with Boy George?
No, I'm not Luke Brown, and no, I did not have an affair with Boy George. I'm in the restaurant business and I live in North London.
So, here we go. Contestant number 2. Are you indeed Reese Powell, and did you shag Catherine Zeta-Jones?
No, I'm not Reese Powell. My name's Geraint Davis. I work in London and I organise an international wine and spirits event. Thank you.
Good work, Shane. Very good work. And I'm going to hand you £10,000. Well played, Reese. Well, well. Who'd have thought it?
Them lot didn't.
Could you introduce yourself to us?
Yeah, my name's Steve Pasha, and I did indeed bang Denise Van Aert.
And just in case you don't believe us, and why should you after tonight, here's some documentary proof. I'd like to thank all of our liars this evening and, of course, our solitary truth teller. We'll be back next week when we meet 6 people who really have already bought a copy of The Big Issue. Until then, have a good week. See you now. Good night.
He wasn't famous in 1980, he was famous in 1984.
What musical instrument does Ruud Gullit play?
I didn't know he did. I never got serenaded.
Did you know she was born in Nijmegen in Holland?